had this whole video prepared, and then I was like, this is kind of BS. And then when I started like talking, I was like, this is such BS. And I think so much of the artistic and creative process is like that. It's sort of like finding what is true and what is true for you. And sometimes you're doing something and you're like, this is kind of BS. I don't believe in what I'm saying. And it's not that I didn't believe in what I was saying. I do actually believe in what I was saying. It was just like, that's not, maybe that's where I'd like to be, but that's not where I am. And I think that that was like such an eye-opening moment. And I think that that is what the creative process is about. And I think that's what the artist's life journey is about. It's finding deeper truths within society, within humanity, within yourself. And that's why, to me, the life of the artist has been such a, it's been self-revelatory, because you as an artist are always delving. My cat agrees. He has a lot to say on the topic. It is so self-revelatory, and it's a constant process of finding or looking for nuggets of inner truth. Okay. He agrees. And so here we are. It's so interesting because I didn't think that I would have such an issue creating this channel. And I have been having real challenges, let's call them that. And maybe it's because I feel like the channel should have like a certain level of production value. And kind of reaching that place has not been easy. And I think because I really started out in this journey creating on TikTok as a way to segue into YouTube. So my plan was like, okay, I'm going to do this for like some time. And so I did TikTok. And then the whole thing, the ban came about, right? Like, and they were like talking about the ban this, the ban that. And now we see that like the bill passed. And it's soon the president might kind of sign off on it. And he had said that he would sign off on it if the ban came across his desk. And so I decided, okay, it's time to jump onto YouTube. I feel like we're ready. So I did the jump and I posted my first video. And the first video was great because I had already had I had been delving into this idea of what we can learn from like an artist. And I chose J-Lo because she was kind of popping off in the moment. And I was like, great, like I did that. I edited it really quickly. The first one was easy, but this one, I don't know. And it was about the struggling artist. And I was like, boom, I have a ton to say on the matter. And when the time came, I was just like, this is such bullshit. Oops. Curse word, sorry. I'm like, this is such BS. Like, I don't even believe myself. Like, and it wasn't that like I said before, that I didn't believe in what I was saying. It was just that some element of it did not hold true for me. And so I haven't really been prepared for it to be this challenging, because I was like, okay, boom, I've been talking, right? Because the easy thing about TikTok is that you sit down and you kind of just start speaking about something, right? And it's usually like you get inspired and you like turn on the camera and you start unpacking something. And I've been unpacking about the artist, the creative process, the artist's way. And so I thought it would be easier. especially because I've been an actor for a whole bunch of years. So I should, this should be easy. And I find it challenging. And what's interesting about the challenges is that it isn't unlike the challenges that you meet when you're like up against like a new medium. For any of you that are multidisciplinary artists, you know the path, right? Like you know the path of like going from one medium to the other, that there's always this level of like having to learn the ropes and then finally finding a kind of flow to the work. And going back to kind of the challenges that I've found myself in like creating these like talking head videos, that there's like a level of production that I felt like I wanted to do. But ultimately I am an artist and I'm not like a talking head, you know? I've been educating myself for the past, oh my God, the first time I knew I wanted to start my YouTube journey was in 2020. And I was just looking at the big picture. And I was like, okay, like the big picture is this. And YouTube was an aspect of that, a larger picture. And it has taken me 4 years, and I've been educating myself on like production value, on how to, on writing the script for a talking head video. I've been looking at, and I haven't started those yet, on the more aesthetically pleasing videos. And it's so interesting because I'm having such an issue. And I have been, because ultimately, but it's the same as the artist process, which is what I love and what inspires me, because content creation or creating content out of your art is no less an artistic part of the artistic process than the art itself, because you have to take risks and you have to put yourself out there and you have to consistently create and you have to say something and you have to deeply believe in what you're saying, and you're frustrated and and angry and all these things, right? Like the full plethora of like what it means to like create, to be a creator, to be an artist. And that's what I'm experiencing now. And that gap, right, of what Martha Graham calls like the artist, like what is it that she calls it? Give me 1 second.
2,000 years later.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, here's the quote. Martha Graham puts it best: no artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any time. There is only a queer divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. It is that divine like dissatisfaction, that blessed unrest between where you are and where you want to be. And it's so interesting. And I know this isn't as put together as a lot of content creators tell you that you need to be, but I think part of it is kind of the improv of life, of like recognizing what is true and what isn't true for yourself, and kind of allowing yourself to go on the journey of the artist. And this is a conversation that right now I'm thinking like, how in the world am I going to find a title for this? Because I think what happens with YouTube, or at least what has happened for me with YouTube, is that it all seems like, it put in a little box. It's highly produced, it's beautiful, it's aesthetic, it's satisfying to the eye and to the ear, and it's a quick boom boom boom, right? And so you think like you need to like do that, but then you come in and you're like, but that's not life, and that's not artistry, and that's not me, right? And like I need to be honest. And so you always need to be honest with who you are as an artist. and who you are. And I think that that makes you a better content creator as well. Like, and I'm not here to create like necessarily content. I think it's about creating content from your art, of connecting with audiences, of connecting with people, of connecting with other artists as well, to find some kind of salve to the journey of the artist and to like create community. And I've said this on my TikTok channel, but I want to reiterate it here, that community is such an integral part of the journey of the artist. And I think that that's why I've created this channel, right? Like, and especially for people that are curious, right? Because we are all curious about each other's lives. Let's be real, right? Like, it's not just because I'm Latina. Like, we are so curious about each other's lives, and YouTube has sourced that. YouTube is like the center focus of like, ooh, what is this guy doing? Ooh, I've never seen that. TikTok is the same. Like the other day I got on a pottery talk and I was just like, oh, I am home. I love this. What is this? I must take a class. But it's because it's so interesting, and people's lives are so interesting, and they tell you stories while they're creating like the next, their next pottery themed art. I love watching painter talk. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. And I've gotten on here and I listen to like fine artists talk about, them kind of monetizing their work, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how I can put that into my work as well. You just have to be honest with yourself about your own journey, about your own path. And that is part of the artistic process. And there's always going to be some level of dissatisfaction. And my videos might not look as pretty or as produced, but I think that there is an element of honesty in that, of truth. That's all I have for you today. I will say this, that at the core of it, at the core of all art is truth. And we must seek truth within our art form. And I believe that there isn't any difference between that and like creating content. I think that there is an authenticity about connecting with others through these formats that might not be there in, let's say, a theater industry or filmmaking industry or Hollywood or whatever you want to call it component, because it's us just kind of sitting down and being, hey, I have this thing to offer you. Or, hey, like, this is me, or this is a day in my life, right? Like The Life of Riza. I watch it, and I know so many of us watch it. And it offers us an insight into kind of her life, but also like a moment to moment, like what is true for you. And at the core of it, of all art form, again, content creation, art, theater, film, whatever you do, is truth. What is true? What is true today? What is true tomorrow? And that might change. Your truth might change from the moment you write a script to the moment you sit down to talk about it. And you're like, I could not care less about this topic. Yeah, it's interesting. It really is. Anyway, I'll leave you with that thought. Have gorgeous days. I'll see you when I see you.